fast recipe. And then I'm done. I am putting just a little bit of oil in my Instant Pot. And I am going to do roast beef, potatoes, corn, and gravy. So put your Instant Pot on saute. So put it on saute, and then we'll put the beef in. Kind of get your oil scattered around because you're going to sear the roast. Okay, so I like to season mine with a little bit of garlic powder. And I put the lid on my air fryer to get it hot. Okay, so it's smoking a little bit. So I think it's ready. Now searing it means you're going to seal in the juices by getting when it sizzles. You want it to get hot enough to sizzle really good. That puts a crust on the outside of the meat, kind of like a scab. I know it's kind of gross, but anyway, it puts like a crust on it, and then you flip it over, do it on the other side. That holds the juices in and makes your roast more tender and good. So the Instant Pot doesn't really get hot enough to put a good crust on it. And if I could do this outside in a cast iron skillet on the grill with some more oil, I could get a really good sear on there, and that would help. But this will do. So I'm just gonna get it on the other side, and then I will put my beef broth in. So I'm gonna put about a cup of beef broth. You can do bone broth, would make it healthier. But anyway, I'm gonna put my lid on, and then put it on, make sure that's closed. I'm gonna put it on meat. So I'm gonna put it on meat, and that's about 35 minutes. Now, I probably will open it up at about 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna put some potatoes, parsnips, and carrots and onion in there, and let that cook for about 5 more minutes to soften those up and cook those really good. So once this is tender, I'll check it, see if it's tender enough. If it's not tender enough, I'll cook it some more, and then I'll put the vegetables in at the last. Okay, so I am going to quick release my steam. So I will say, my roast in here, it is a chuck roast, and it is from a Jersey cow that we had. It is grass-fed for the most part, and it's gonna have a lower fat marbling, but it still has fat in it. And I know on Weight Watchers, you have to count the points. So there's going to be points to the meat. However, if you did a leaner cut of beef and it was grass-fed, there's not, like I said, there's not a lot of fat in it because there's not a lot of grain. They're not fed a lot of grain. You're going to want to count some points for this. Now, if you had like venison, if you did like a back strap on venison, it's going to be less. It just is, because they don't have as much fat in them. It's pretty close. I like it more tender. But I do have to put the vegetables in and cook those some too. So I think I'm going to do 5 more minutes. So let's quick release this again. I also press down on this part, this little thingy, and it does it even faster. And I put this towel over it to keep it from splattering up on my cabinets and warping the wood and putting steam up under my cabinets. So I do, and it keeps it from splattering food particles and things like that. So, oh, it's very tender. I'm putting parsnips, onion, and carrots. I'm completely out of potatoes, and I did not realize that. And potatoes and cauliflower in here would be perfect, because if you, and parsnips are free, carrots are free, cauliflower is free. So if you did parsnips and cauliflower and mashed them up like potatoes, or even put some potatoes, some parsnips, some cauliflower, it would reduce the carb load, which would make, you know, it wouldn't be like mashed potatoes. It would have a lot less carbs in it. So that's one way you can have mashed potatoes with roast beef, is if you will do like a third potatoes, a third parsnips, and a third cauliflower, turnips, you know, any of those root vegetables. They add a sweetness and they add a flavor to it that's really good. You just have to try it and see what you like. But the onion has a special purpose in here too. So we're gonna cook this for or close it off, cook it for 5 more minutes. Okay, so let's see how these veggies, oh, no, they're gonna need some more. So here it is. I have probably cooked this for about 55 minutes total, because I kept having to do it again. It just wasn't getting done enough. So the vegetables weren't getting tender, but now they're very tender. The meat is extremely, it's almost fork tender. So let me get this out into a dish and I'll show you what I'm gonna do to make the gravy. Now here comes the gravy part that makes it so good. If I had done it, I really should have probably put 2 whole onions in here just to make it thicker, but I have the broth, I've cooked the vegetables in it and the meat in it, and now I'm going to I left the onion in the broth. So let's see how that turns out. Okay, so I didn't have enough onion in the first batch, so I cooked another onion in the gravy, or in the juices, after I pureed the first onion in here. So let's see if this thickens it up a little bit more. Okay, so I have cooked to a very translucent degree of the onion, to where it's just, you know, falling apart. And then you take your stick blender and you blend it up. And there you have it thickens as it cools a little bit, but there you have a nice, you can see that. It's like I said, it'll thicken up a little bit, but you can even put more onion in here and make it even thicker. But it's a nice gravy to put on top of your roast beef, your cauliflower, or your mashed cauliflower with turnips. And then I also have something else. So in my freezer, I have this baggie of, these are chopped up chives that I grew. I put them in a ice cube tray. I pour oil over them. And then that is something that I can throw into like a beef stew, or, you know, any kind of a soup or stew or a sauce. So this is just frozen, and they're individual. I freeze them separately, and then pop them out, put them in the baggie, and that is oil and fresh chives, and that keeps the flavor of the chives. You can do it in water or like a chicken broth, but I did it in the oil. And so what I will do is, when I have my my mashed potato with cauliflower and parsnips, I can put one of these cubes in there, and then I can also do a Brummel and Brown, you know, a little bit of Brummel and Brown. And it's going to be a low carb, low fat mashed potatoes with gravy and roast beef, and it's gonna have points to it, and I will put the points up there while I'm editing the video. But you know, the beef is going to, because it is marbled with fat. These are going to have a little bit because it's you know, I'm putting one of these in there, and then some Brummel and Brown, and then but the gravy is not going to have any points because it's just beef broth and onion. So your gravy's free. Your meat will have some points. Your mashed potatoes will have some points. Your carrots will be free. Or you could do like the yeast rolls. You could do the biscuits or the yeast rolls, whatever, if you wanted to, out of my biscuit recipe with the self-rising flour and the fat-free yogurt, Greek yogurt. You could make some biscuits or rolls and have that, and you've got a really good dinner, but it's going to be much, much, much lower points than, you know, regular gravy, regular biscuits or yeast rolls. You know, you can take a 20-point meal and whittle it down to 7 or 8 points, and you don't feel like you're deprived. If you've got gravy and the mashed potatoes, if they taste good. I love the cauliflower. I love the cauliflower, the turnips, the parsnips, everything like that. It just tastes so good. I don't feel like I'm deprived. You know, I feel like I'm getting a really good meal. I'm getting a really good treat for low points. And, you know, it's all about substitution and all about changing your eating habits, making things doable. I know the brownies that I made, you know, you're using a lot of sweetener, but for the fact that you're only doing it, you know, with a small brownie with a cup of coffee in the morning or for dessert or something, it's not like you're eating an entire pan of brownies. It's not like you're shoveling tons of sweetener down your throat. And to me, if it's what makes the diet work and it keeps me from, you know, being 40 pounds overweight or 30 pounds overweight, then, you know, it's healthier. I'm healthier not being overweight than I am having the extra weight on me. So anyway, I said all that to say there is a way to have your roast beef, mashed potatoes, and gravy and eat it too, which is nice. So I hope you enjoyed that. The gravy is thickening up. Put 3 onions in there if you want to, and it'll be very thick gravy. But it smells amazing because the onion is nothing but flavor itself. You could even put garlic in, cook the garlic in with the onions and puree it up. And it's gonna be, it's just gonna be so savory. And it's gonna add such a depth of flavor to your mashed potatoes, turnips, parsnips, whatever you're doing. Or just cauliflower. You can just do cauliflower if you wanted to. But experiment with it, see what you like. You know, come up with game plans and plan your suppers and your meals and make them fun, make them taste really good, and drink your water. You need to drink your water. It's extremely important. I know that people say you can drink too much water. Yeah, you can drink too much water. If you want to drink 3 gallons a day, that's probably too much water. But 2 quarts a day is not too much water. And it does help with so many things in your body. So drink your water. I don't say it enough. I don't say it on my videos enough. I need to say it more often. You need to drink water. It's good. You need to drink mineralized, you know, if you can have minerals, electrolytes in it. You need to put electrolytes in it because, you know, just plain water with it distilled. I have RO water. So reverse osmosis, it takes all the minerals and everything out, which is not good because you have to have minerals. So, you know, put some minerals in your water. If yours is totally filtered distilled water, you know, it's better to have the electrolytes and to have some minerals in it. You can't absorb apparently, you cannot absorb vitamins as well if you don't have correct minerals, a correct mineral balance. So, you know, you need your magnesium. It's so important. You need your sodium. You need your potassium. You need all those that, you know, help you to absorb more of your vitamins. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I will have another video up soon. Bye.